This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 on Good Morning Indiana, an East Side store plagued by a rash of robberies. We're working for you this morning as the community is demanding changes.
And today, Ivanka Trump will kick off a 2-day visit to the Circle City. We have details on where she will be and how you can participate in a panel discussion with the president's senior advisor.
Plus, it's the season of giving, and one Indiana teacher is making it extra special for a special student, the heartwarming gesture that now has them binded for life. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday, December the 4th. I'm Rafael Sanchez.
And I'm Meredith Barrick, and meteorologist Todd Clausen is joining us with an extra special forecast because the sunshine has finally returned. I feel like it's an early holiday gift.
You know, it kind of is. We didn't see the sun at all on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and most of yesterday we were locked in with the clouds. So it is nice to see out there once it comes up. We had a little taste of it yesterday evening. For some of you, you cleared out before sunset. For others, the skies didn't clear until after sunset, which is at 5:21 here this time of year. So what do you need to go grab before you go? Well, the sunglasses, as we just mentioned, you'll need them from start to finish here throughout the day. Today, you need the winter jacket, the hats and gloves. You probably want to have at least the gloves handy if you're going to be out for an extended period of time here this morning, or you have a little ways to walk because temperatures are at freezing or just a little bit below. In Richmond, a little bit above as you work your way into Bloomington at 35, Martinsville 35 as well. Peru, just 1 degree below freezing right now at 31 degrees. So we have pretty clear skies across the area, a little more in the way of cloud cover off to our west, and there will be some high thin clouds that drift in at times, but overall this weather pattern has become much more quiet, not only here locally but off towards the east as well. So enjoy the sun-filled skies today, and temperatures will moderate with that sunshine, eventually above normal, 42 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, and then eventually by the time we get to 4 or 5 o'clock, we're looking at a temperature of 45 degrees. Our normal high this time of year is down to 42, so we hit that already by the noon hour. Get out there and enjoy. We'll talk about the rest of the week coming up in just a few minutes.
From Todd's great forecast to a great outlook on the roads, a live look right now at I-465 at Arlington Avenue. You can see traffic in that area is moving well. Good morning to Rushville, Newcastle, and Avon. A great outlook this morning. No problems to report on the interstate system.
An Indianapolis woman fearing for the safety of her son, his co-workers, and the shoppers at an East Side store is turning to RTV6 for help. She's pushing for change because she says the Family Dollar her son works at is not safe. Our Kelsey Anderson is working for you this morning to find out what can be done. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning, Meredith. Yeah, so shoppers at that East Side Family Dollar tell us that they are afraid that someone is going to get seriously injured or worse, killed by the criminals that prey on this store. RTV6 has learned Metro Police have been called out to the Family Dollar at 21st in Arlington at least 5 times this year for robberies, 4 of them being armed, and 1 of them happening as recently as this week. Sandra Goodrich called RTV6 for help because she says her son works at the store and she doesn't think the store is safe for anyone to be working or shopping there without security. She tells us her son was working when a man came in with a gun to rob the store.
He pulls out his gun and he tells it was a girl cashier. He grabbed her first, tell her to open her drawer. Then he turns around to my son and tell my son to open his drawer.
Goodrich says she's seen people outside, even in the daylight, trying to steal purses and other people's belongings. Now, we reached out to Family Dollar yesterday to see what, if any, changes they plan on making. This morning, we have not heard back yet. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Family and friends of a local doctor said their final goodbyes as the search for his killer continues this morning. Dr. Dean Marr was shot and killed during a home invasion last Wednesday as he was preparing Thanksgiving dinner. Those close to him say this is a huge loss, not just for his family, but also for our community.
You never hear anybody say anything bad about Dean, whether it's patients. You know, it's a pretty small city. You know, we take care of badly injured people that a lot of times need to see other doctors in town and stuff like that. And you know, patients all love him. The nurses all love him. It's truly amazing.
Police say there was only one witness and multiple suspects in the case, but so far no arrests have been reported. Police are asking anyone with information that can help them solve this case to call the Hendricks County Sheriff's Office Investigations Division at 317-745-9354.
And now to southern Indiana, where a boy has died after being hit by a vehicle. Now, this happened around 4:30 Tuesday afternoon in Sellersburg. Police say the boy tried to cross South Indiana Avenue, one of the busier roads in town, when he was hit by a car. We're told traffic immediately stopped and several people performed CPR on the child, including the police chief. He was initially taken to Clark Memorial Hospital, then later transferred to Norton's Children's Hospital in Louisville. But after nearly 6 hours in the hospital, he died late last night. A traumatic loss for the small community.
Sellersburg's a very close-knit community, and the students, they pretty much are together from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, so they get very close to each other, and it can be a very unsettling thing to have a classmate go through something like that.
The boy's name has not been released just yet. Police say the driver of the vehicle that hit him did stop, and no charges are expected to be filed.
A Tennessee doctor faces up to 20 years in prison and a $1 million fine after pleading guilty to overprescribing opioids and other drugs. Health records show between 2014 and 2015, 5 of Dr. Daryl Reinhardt's patients fatally overdosed. According to court documents, he moved to Indianapolis once his prescriptions started being questioned. Dr. Reinhardt reportedly worked at Rush Memorial Hospital in Rushville, but is no longer employed there. He is one of 60 medical professionals indicted in a multi-state federal drug investigation operation.
The time now is 5:06. More than 400,000 Hoosiers covered by the Healthy Indiana Plan, also known as HIP, could keep their coverage for the next 10 years, but that's if the federal government approves an extension request filed by the state of Indiana. The federal Medicaid waiver that established the current HIP program is set to expire at the end of next year. But the state wants to keep the program in place until the year 2030. The extension request would also expand substance abuse and mental health services until the year 2025. Meanwhile, Attorney General Curtis Hill is backing a lawsuit that would get rid of the Medicaid waiver affecting HIP.
Ivanka Trump will be in Indianapolis today and tomorrow to discuss job training initiatives. She and U.S. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross will serve as co-chairs of the Workforce Policy Advisory Board. The board, which also includes Governor Eric Holcomb, will host their quarterly meeting at the Indiana Women's Prison Thursday. Before the meeting, board members will tour the prison and learn about the Last Mile, a training program that helps prisoners gain employment after their incarceration. The public is invited to listen to the meeting and submit questions. We have information on how to do just that at theindychannel.com.
An Indianapolis woman who's accomplished many firsts is hoping to represent the Southeast Side at the Indiana State House. Belinda Brake plans to announce her candidacy this week for House District 89, but she's first talking with RTV6 about her plans. The 34-year-old was the first in her family to graduate from college, and if elected next year, she would be the first openly LGBTQ person of color elected to the state's legislature. She says her diverse background, along with her 10 years of public service, is exactly what the State House needs.
I'm a trailblazer, resilient, black, beautiful, and bold. But at the same time, I've continued to learn what it means to be receptive. I've continued to learn what it means to grow and to actively listen to not just myself, but a lot of the people around me so that I can be the leader that a lot of my communities are asking me to be.
Drake says she already has a plan for her first 3 initiatives, including passing an inclusive hate crimes law and launching a statewide universal pre-K program, which would be funded by profits from legalized marijuana sales.
A special education teacher in southern Indiana and her husband are great examples of just how magical this holiday season can be. Deb Schwartz hopes to make each of her students feel special every single day. But for 19-year-old Dylan Bridges, there wasn't always a lot of good. He was in foster care and the situation wasn't always the best. That's when Deb took her compassion beyond the classroom. She and her husband adopted Dylan. Now he's thriving not only at home, but at school as well.
It was awesome. And I love living with Deb, and she's the best.
He's come a long way, and he's happy, and when he's happy, I'm happy.
Dylan says his dream is to one day have a home of his own and live independently. Deb and Dan say if that's his goal, they're going to make it happen. They plan on building him a small apartment on their property. Well, that is such a great story to kick off our morning. I love that. All right, Todd, and you have some good news as well.
Yeah, you know, the sunshine's set to return, so that's good news for everybody here across central Indiana. It's been a pretty dismal stretch of weather with not a ton in the way of rain over the weekend. Obviously, Saturday we had a lot of rain, but yesterday and Monday we were just kind of dealing with clouds and just damp conditions overall. Well, the skies are clear here this morning with the clear skies. Temperatures are hovering in the 30s, and we'll probably drop off a couple more degrees here this morning before the sun comes up. Sunrise now, not until 7:50 this morning, but once that sun does rise, we'll have plenty of it in the forecast. So here is what it looks like out there right now. Just a few fair weather clouds here and there, otherwise clear skies off to our west. Not much is out there at all, and that is the nice weather we'll enjoy not only today, but in the coming days ahead. So temperatures today will top off in the 40s anywhere you go, even some 50s here in southern locations from Bloomington over towards the Columbus area, mid 40s to the north in Kokomo, 46 the high temperature in Greenwood. All these temperatures are above our normal high for this time of year, so it's going to be a very, very nice day. We'll talk more about the extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
The Democratic field of presidential candidates is getting smaller. Straight ahead, why Senator Kamala Harris is ending her campaign.
A New York man is very lucky this morning after falling onto subway tracks. Coming up, see his dramatic rescue.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
In the race for 2020, Senator Kamala Harris is out. She's the highest profile candidate to drop out after a very promising start. But her campaign faced several recent challenges, including claims of a lack of focus and accusations of staff mistreatment. ABC's Lindsay Davis joins us now with how it all came to an end.
A campaign that started with so much promise brought to an abrupt end today, even before the first vote was cast.
I'm not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign.
Senator Kamala Harris, who sought to be the first black female president of the United States, calling the decision one of the hardest of her life.
I cannot tell you that I have a path forward if I don't believe I do.
She shot to the top tier early, famously taking on Biden for his previous position on mandated busing to integrate schools.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
But Harris started to plateau in the polls, often struggling to defend her record as a prosecutor.
When you had the power, why didn't you try to affect change then?
So I'm glad you asked me this question. I made a decision that if I was going to have the ability to reform the system, I would try to do it from the inside. Was I able to get enough done? Absolutely not.
Over the weekend, signs the campaign was unraveling. The New York Times obtaining a resignation letter from a Harris aide who said, "I no longer have confidence in our campaign or its leadership."
Senator Harris told staffers on Tuesday that she worked around the clock Thanksgiving weekend to try to figure out how to make things work. But ultimately, after doing a campaign audit, she says she simply didn't have the money to move forward. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
The House Judiciary Committee is holding its first public impeachment hearing today. 4 constitutional law experts will lay the groundwork for an impeachment vote defining key phrases like obstruction of justice and high crimes and misdemeanors. The hearing comes a day after the House Intelligence Committee released its report. The report makes the case that President Donald Trump endangered national security by asking Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his family. We will have live coverage on this issue beginning at 10 a.m. today.
204 Tennessee teenagers who broke out of a juvenile detention center Saturday are back in custody. Surveillance video shows them running down empty hallways before busting out of the Nashville facility. Investigators say the 4 were able to escape after the person supervising them was called away to stop a fight elsewhere in the building. 16-year-old Decorius Wright and 15-year-old Calvin Howes were captured captured Tuesday night. Morris Marsh, who's accused of murder, and Brandon Carruthers, both 17, are still on the run.
So take a look at this video at 5:17. Some scary moments there for a New York man after his wheelchair rolled off a subway platform onto the subway tracks. You see it right there. It was at the height of rush hour, and several onlookers watched in horror as the man lurched forward and tumbled onto the tracks. That's the number 3 IRT bound for Brooklyn. A train had just pulled out and another was just minutes away from pulling in. Thankfully, some quick thinking workers, they radioed the oncoming train and were able to get it stopped while EMS workers worked to remove the man. He was eventually pulled to safety, only suffering a few minor bumps and bruises. Thank goodness for Good Samaritans. And I know it's number 3 Brooklyn bound because I'm a former New Yorker and I know my trains.
Both of you.
Yeah,
two East Coast guys over here.
The things you know.
Take
Todd,
the
518.
7 train to Queens to go watch the Mets. The ACE, North-South.
The who?
The New York Mets.
Yeah. Take the D to watch the Yankees.
What train do we need to take to Sunshineville, USA?
We're on board that train right now.
All right.
We're on our way there. We're on our way there. You can pick any number you want or the letter you want, and we'll call it that because sunshine is back in the forecast here today. Clear skies and dry roads this morning for your commute. The temperatures are around freezing this morning. Definitely need to have the jacket handy, and then sunrise at 7:50 this morning. And once the sun comes up, we will have plenty of sunshine not only this morning but throughout the entire day. 35 right now in Muncie, 33 in Indy, 32 in Crawfordsville, 34 is the current temperature in Greencastle. Bloomington is at 35 degrees, and we'll enjoy lots of sunshine, as I mentioned, throughout the day. And with that sunshine, temperatures today will be a lot warmer across the area. We'll have temperatures in the mid-40s for your afternoon high. That puts us above normal for this time of year, and then we'll cool back down to right around 40 degrees by the time we get to 6 p.m. So the satellite radar picture shows just a few clouds out there off to our west, and some of these will move through at times throughout the day today. But overall, it's a mostly sunny day. The snow showers to our north, that's exactly where they'll stay. Those are drifting in off of Lake Michigan, and with the wind direction where it is, it will not impact our weather. We'll just enjoy the clear skies here throughout the remainder of the day. And then this evening, clear skies as well. Temperatures fall back down into the 30s. So if you do have plans this Wednesday evening, make sure you have the jacket handy. Tomorrow, back into the sunshine. Temperatures a little bit warmer tomorrow, up to 47 degrees for your high temperature. And then as we look ahead, we'll keep the temperatures in the 40s. A little bit cooler on Friday, though, with a little more in the way of cloud cover. Back to 44 on Saturday. Sunday, showers develop throughout the day with a high temperature of 50 degrees. Even warmer as we get into Monday, which is key because that's when the precipitation becomes more widespread. But with highs in the 50s, that will be in the form of all rain. However, when temperatures do cool a little bit on the backside of that system Tuesday, some of those rain showers could go over to snow showers across the area.
Todd, thank you. Here at 5:20, we're going to take a live look at I-70 at the North Split. Just a few cars out there getting their day started. Meanwhile, over on 465 at Ditch Road, just a few cars in that area too. No issues to report to start your Wednesday morning.
Bad breath and cavities aren't the only reason you should take care of your oral health. Researchers now say that regularly brushing your teeth could help prevent heart issues. Korean researchers looked at more than 150,000 adults. They found that brushing your teeth 3 or more times a day led to lower risks of health failure and a common heart rhythm disorder. One theory, brushing reduces the bacteria that builds up between the teeth and the gums, preventing the germs from moving into the bloodstream.
Very interesting. And speaking of heart health, doctors in Denmark say patients that have been treated for heart conditions in the hospital have a higher survival rate if they have strong family and community connections. Researchers found patients who reported feeling lonely had increased mortality within a year compared to those that interacted with people on a regular basis. So if any of your loved ones have heart disease or were recently hospitalized, consider paying them a visit, sending a card, or giving them a call. It could help them live longer.
So this act of forgiveness caught on camera really warmed hearts across our country. Now the man behind the act is getting rewarded for his compassion.
And some Indiana colleges say injuries are on the rise from electric scooters. Coming up, details on the restrictions Purdue University is considering to improve safety on campus. We'll be right back.
Zero deposit, zero first month, and zero due at signing.
This Illinois couple has always been certain of their relationship, but until last week, they weren't sure how long it could last. Stacy and Rachel Cloth went to the same school, worked at the same place, and in 2009 got married. It's been 10 years of love, laughter, and raising 3 kids. But for the past 4 years, Stacy has been fighting kidney and heart failure. Doctors said his heart wasn't strong enough for a kidney transplant, but Stacy kept fighting. 10 minutes before Stacy got to his next appointment, he got a call saying he was approved for a kidney. It turns out Rachel is a donor and a perfect match. The two had surgery last week and are now both on the mend. A very early Christmas present and a true example of a match made in heaven.
That is simply awesome. It was an act of forgiveness that warmed hearts across the country. Brant Jean embracing and forgiving Amber Geiger after she was convicted of shooting and killing his brother Botham. Yesterday, that act of forgiveness and mercy was rewarded by the Institute for Law Enforcement Administration. The organization awarded Brant Jean their Ethical Conduct Award, given to one who shows moral courage and integrity. In his acceptance, Brant said as much as forgiving, he wants things to be done right. He also called on the Institute to work on police training to stop shootings similar to the one that killed his brother.
Here at 5:27, Todd Clausen is joining us. And Todd, we are just so thrilled about the sunshine that's in store. It's kind of been a gloomy couple of days. Yeah. So I think everyone's ready to feel the vitamin D.
Just the little things that make us happy, right? Just getting the sunshine back after a stretch of pretty cloudy weather across the area. The sunrise today is at 7:50. It'll be bright and nice sunrise for us here for a change. 33 in Indy right now, 35 in Bloomington, Zionsville at 32 degrees. The sunshine returns today, as we mentioned, warmer temperatures as well, as we'll get up to 44 degrees, and that will put us back above normal. Should be a great day for us here across the area. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, a string of robberies at a Family Dollar is bringing some safety concerns in the community. The changes that they want the company to make to fix what they say is a lack of security.
And some Indiana colleges say injuries are on the rise from electric scooters like these. The restrictions Purdue University is considering to improve safety on campus. It is 5:31 here on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Rafael Sanchez with Meredith Barrick. Lauren Casey is hopefully sleeping the night away. I doubt it because Archie is probably...
And you know what? She chose a good handful of days to take off because, Todd, we've got great weather ahead.
Yeah, I'm a little guess maybe she's putting up some Christmas lights outdoors here.
Oh, yeah.
She was done 3 weeks ago, Todd. What are you kidding me?
She's adding more, probably.
She hasn't done the outside ones yet, I don't think. So that's probably on her plan, or maybe she is adding more. Who knows? She loves Christmas, but it's a good day for everybody if you haven't put your Christmas lights outside, or maybe just going on and go pick up a tree. Today's a good day to do it as well. Sunglasses needed, jackets needed, your outdoor workout. Good to go here this morning and this evening, as it will be a sun-filled day for us. Temperatures this morning are in the 30s anywhere you go. A couple of you, though, getting a little close to those upper 20s. Richmond right at 30 degrees, 31 up in Peru, as well as Tipton. 35, though, is the high temperature in Bloomington. The skies are clear for most of us. Just a little band of cloud cover scooting in here from Terre Haute down towards the Bloomington area. But as you look to the west, there is not much going on anywhere, and that is the nice quiet weather we'll enjoy today. We'll enjoy tomorrow, Friday, into Saturday as well. So it's not just a one-day deal with this sunshine. Here's the temperature trend for you hour by hour as you work your way through this Wednesday. 42 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. That already puts us to where we should be this time of year, and with high temperatures eventually this afternoon climbing up to 45. The time now is 5:32. Let's get a look at the roadways.
As the temperatures go northbound, let's begin at the northbound part of our city. I-465 and I-69 on State Road 37. Good morning today to Danville, Shelbyville, and Martinsville. As you can look at the traffic this morning, all is moving well throughout the interstate system. Safe travels on this Wednesday morning. Meredith?
An Indianapolis woman fearing for the safety of her son, his co-workers, and the shoppers at this East Side store is turning to RTV6 for help. She's pushing for change because she says the Family Dollar her son works at isn't safe. Our Kelsey Anderson is working for you this morning to find out what can be done. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, those shoppers we spoke to at the East Side Family Dollar say they're afraid that someone's going to get seriously hurt or even worse, killed by one of the criminals that are preying on this store. RTV6 has learned that Metro Police have been called out to the Family Dollar at 21st in Arlington at least 5 times this year for robberies, 4 of them being armed robberies. One of them happening just this week. Sandra Goodrich, whose son works for the store, called RTV6 for help because she says she doesn't think the store is safe for anyone to be working or shopping there without security.
This store is nationwide, and it seemed like y'all should have a security guard at least at night to be around, because they just breaking, they just robbing, and somebody's just a matter of time, somebody gonna be shot.
She tells us her son was working when a man came in the store and held him at gunpoint while he emptied the register. Goodrich says she's seen people outside, even in the daylight, trying to steal purses and other belongings. Now, we did reach out to Family Dollar yesterday, and this morning we have not heard back from them just yet on what they plan to do, if they plan to do anything. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
At 5:34, let's take you to Hamilton County, where police in Noblesville want to know if you can recognize the people in these surveillance pictures. They're accused of robbing customers outside the Best Buy near State Road 37 and Pleasant Street. Investigators say that on Black Friday, the suspects confronted 3 victims in the parking lot as they were putting items in their vehicle. The suspects got away with a gaming device and games. No injuries were reported. If you have any information about the people in this image right there in your screen, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 317-262-TIPS.
Investigators say a space heater likely caused a fire in Clinton County that killed an 8-month-old child. Monday's fire at a home in Frankfort has been ruled accidental. Firefighters say a father and 2 young kids were able to escape, but the baby, Deacon James Hunter Mills, could not be saved.
After more than a dozen serious injuries reported on their campus, Purdue University is researching the safety of electric scooters. In a release from the university, the study will look at the extreme safety issues posed by the scooters and other electric vehicles. Recently, Purdue President Mitch Daniels says one student nearly died in an accident while using an electric skateboard. A task force is also being created to develop new policies for the vehicles. Issues could include speed limits, helmet requirements, or even a total ban on scooters. Indiana University also says it has seen an uptick in injuries on their Bloomington campus.
More cases of hepatitis A have been confirmed in connection to blackberries sold at Fresh Time.
According to the CDC, 16 cases have now been confirmed across the country, including 2 right here in Indiana. 9 of those people were sent to the hospital because of the disease. The CDC says it is still working with suppliers to determine the source of that contamination. The berries were sold at Fresh Time in September across 7 states. The CDC says that Fresh Time is cooperating with their investigation.
Grubhub and Uber Eats are getting some new competition. Kroger says it is now getting into the meal delivery business, and it's doing so with the help of an Indianapolis startup. The nation's largest supermarket chain is partnering with Cluster Truck to create Kroger delivery kitchens. Kroger says customers will be able to order restaurant-style meals from its kitchens online and have it delivered without a service fee. For now, they're launching in 4 cities: Indianapolis, Carmel, Columbus, Ohio, and Denver. Kroger says if all goes well, the service may expand to other cities.
The time now is 5:37, and 2 years after it was damaged, the historic Muncie Fieldhouse is back in business this morning. Work is complete on the 91-year-old gymnasium just in time for basketball season. The first game was held last night between Muncie Central and Fishers High School. The repairs to the Fieldhouse cost $1.8 million, but were covered by insurance. High winds from a November storm in 2017 caused major damage.
Tornado-like storm that came through, and it knocked over this wall right beside us on the roof and knocked it through the ceiling. It damaged all kinds of steel, caused water damage where we lost the gym floor right behind us. And it really took about a year to get it stabilized and planned, and then it took another year to get all the restoration work done.
The grand reopening is set for next week for the Fieldhouse. That's December the 13th, when both the Muncie Central boys and girls teams take on Logansport.
The Indianapolis Zoo will use a new grant to help boost educational opportunities for Indianapolis preschoolers. The PNC Bank Foundation gifted $25,000 to the zoo for their nature play programs. The president of the zoo says it's important to expose children to the natural world.
We know that around the world, kids of all ages are becoming less and less exposed to nature and have less and less of a connection to the outdoors. And that means that kids are less likely to develop attitudes that support conservation later in life.
PNC also donated $25,000 each to 3 other local organizations as part of its Grow Up Great program.
The Indianapolis Public Library hopes that you are giving the gift of books this holiday season, and they're making it really affordable with a free book. The library has begun its annual Jingle Books program. The goal of Jingle Books is to help children develop the reading skills that they need to succeed in life and improve reading scores while in school. Parents, grandparents, guardians can drop by any Indianapolis Public Library branch and select a free book for each child from a big red box. They even have wrapping paper and bows that you can put it under the tree.
Christmas is just a little more than 3 weeks away, and if you plan to ship any gifts, you'll want to get those in the mail soon. The Postal Service says the 14th is the deadline for ground shipments to arrive before Christmas, but it's the 13th for UPS and the 15th for FedEx. You'll get an extra week of time if you use priority or express shipping, but of course that costs more. Meanwhile, Amazon says the latest you can order is December 23rd if you choose one-day delivery. Here at 20 till 6 on our Wednesday morning, Todd's checking in on the bus stop forecast.
And the kids head off to the bus stop here this morning. They'll basically need what they've had the past few days, and that is going to be the warm clothes. The thing they don't need is any rain gear, and we haven't had a whole lot of rain Monday and Tuesday, but we had kind of that damp feel. We do not have that this morning. That is the good news. 31 degrees with partly cloudy skies. As the kids come home from school, it's a much better day than it has been all week. We'll have mostly sunny skies and a temperature that'll be up to right around 45 degrees. So it's a bright day for us, and that high of 45 actually puts us above normal. There's some snow showers in Michigan. Those will not impact us whatsoever. Otherwise, we will have a mainly clear sky today. There's just this one little band of cloud cover that's making its way into western portions of the state right now. So some of you will wake to a little more in the way of clouds than others, but for most of us, it's going to be a pretty nice stretch of weather. Here's our temperature trend. This yellow line you see here, that's our average high of 43. You can see tomorrow we're close to 50 degrees. We do fall down a little bit heading into the day on Saturday, and then temperatures moderate back up to right around 50 degrees as we get into Sunday and Monday. With the warmth, though, will come the chance of some rain in the forecast. More on that coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. In the midst of those impeachment proceedings, President Trump continues to meet with NATO leaders in London. Coming up, that uncomfortable meeting he had with the president of France.
And another step could be added to security when you fly out of the country. Still ahead why travelers may be photographed before they depart. It's 5:41. We'll be right back.
North 13.
The time now is 5:45, and President Trump is holding more meetings with NATO leaders in London today before that summit wraps up. The president had a really uncomfortable meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron after criticizing Macron's comments about NATO. The Trump administration is now also threatening to add tariffs to more than $2 billion of French imports. ABC's Karen Travers is in London with the latest.
President Trump had some social time in London last night. Tea with Prince Charles, a reception at Buckingham Palace hosted by Queen Elizabeth, and a gathering at 10 Downing Street with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. But the president kicked off his day with tough talk aimed at French President Emmanuel Macron.
Very, very nasty statement, and I think that's very insulting to a lot of different forces.
The president criticizing Macron's recent comments, questioning the strength of NATO and Macron's diagnosis of NATO's, quote, brain death. But seated next to the French president later, President Trump backed down and talked about his good relationship with Macron.
And we intend to make a lot of progress in our next hour, maybe hour and a half.
But there are new trade tensions between the U.S. and France. The Trump administration announced last night it is considering placing tariffs on $2.4 billion in French goods, cheese, wine, and luxury handbags, a retaliatory action for the taxes France placed on U.S. tech companies, including Google and Facebook.
Because if anyone's going to take advantage of the American companies, it's going to be us. It's not going to be France.
And there was also this uncomfortable moment between Trump and Macron when the issue of what to do with ISIS prisoners in Syria came up.
They're mostly from Europe. Would you like some nice ISIS fighters?
Look,
I can give them to you.
Look at the situation.
You can take everyone you want.
Let's be serious. It is true that you have foreign fighters coming from Europe, but this is a tiny minority of the overall problem we have in the region.
And President Trump sits down with German Chancellor Angela Merkel today, and he'll hold a press conference before flying back to Washington. Karen Travers, ABC News, traveling with the president in London.
A national program will now provide free preventative drugs to uninsured Americans at risk of HIV. The program is called Ready, Set, Prep. To qualify, participants must test negative for HIV, have a valid prescription for the medication, and be uninsured. The drugs will be donated by Gilead Sciences, the only company with the medications currently approved by the FDA. Gilead will donate more than 2 million bottles to the program every year. That's enough to treat 200,000 Americans. President Trump announced the partnership with Gilead back in May. They hope to reduce HIV infections by 90% by the end of the decade.
53 people now in custody after Chicago completed an undercover investigation into people selling guns on Facebook. Officials say weapons and drugs are being sold in private or invisible Facebook groups. Now, the typical Facebook users cannot find these groups in a simple search. They must be invited in. The suspects were all caught selling these items to undercover officers. Chicago's interim police chief called out Facebook, claiming the social media giant, in his words, are harboring criminals and isn't doing enough to stop them. Facebook has not responded to the police chief's comments. The time now is 5:48, and Todd Clausen is ready to talk about some wind gusts. What's up with that?
Yeah, you know, it's the trade-off for the sunshine, Raphael. We get the sunshine back here today, but it is going to get a little breezy at times this afternoon as the wind's going to kind of kick up, and we'll see some wind gusts in that 30 to 35 mile per hour range. So that's enough to be an inconvenience, but it's not enough really to cause too much in the way of damage here across the area. But just know that it will be fairly breezy, and that's going to make the temperatures that will be in the 40s today feel a little bit cooler than they actually will be. Here's the view from downtown, looking off towards the west. It will be a beautiful sunrise this morning, obviously in the eastern sky, but nonetheless, the sunrise will be very, very nice with just a few clouds out there and plenty of clear skies. 33 degrees, that's the current temperature. There's that wind right now, but again, those wind speeds will be increasing as the day goes on. Temperatures all across the area hovering anywhere from 30 to about 35 degrees in most of the area, with a little more in the way of cloud cover working in right now in Terre Haute as well as Sullivan. Temperatures there are running just a few degrees warmer. Throughout the day today, we'll notice the temperatures climb pretty steady through the morning hours, up to about 42 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. Then our high temperature today gets up to 45 degrees. That puts us above normal. Sunshine will make it feel pretty nice out there, but again, you'll have to contend with that breeze that will kick in at times. I mentioned those clouds in Terre Haute and Sullivan. There they are, sneaking in to the western side of the state, but most of us are completely clear this morning, and this is just one little batch of cloud cover that's really just going to drift off towards the southeast, and that is going to be just about it for the day today. And to the west, skies are pretty clear, and that's the nice weather we'll enjoy. So TrueCast hour by hour doesn't really confirm much at all, just some high fair weather clouds at times drifting in, especially here in northern locations. And then throughout the evening hours, skies will be mainly clear for us, with temperatures that'll start off right around 40 degrees at 7 p.m. and then eventually cool into the 30s as the day goes on under a mainly clear sky. As we get into the day tomorrow, it is the RTV6 Shine On Toy Drive. We'll be on Monument Circle collecting toys. You can just drive up. People from RTV6 will be standing there. You just hand us the toy. We'll throw it in the bin, and we'll say thank you to you for helping us out this year to bring some Christmas spirit to all the kids, and the weather's going to be nice for that toy drive tomorrow. 30 degrees in the morning, a little chilly. Your noontime temperature tomorrow is 40 degrees, and then eventually up to 46 degrees by the time we get to 4 o'clock. Our high is probably 47, 48 tomorrow, with some of you even maybe getting up to that 50-degree mark in a southern location. So tomorrow, I think, is going to be the best weather day of the week. As we look ahead, it's a little cooler Friday and Saturday, but it is dry. And then once we get to Sunday, that's when we're going to bring in the showers. And then throughout the day on Monday, rain is likely across the area with a high of 51, though. It is all rain on Monday with the cooler air coming in on Tuesday. That's when we could see some of these rain showers change over to some snow showers across the area. But all in all, pretty quiet stretch of weather, and from now at least through Sunday afternoon.
All right, Todd, thank you. You won't need them now, but you will need them later today. Grab those sunglasses before you head out on the roadways. As you can see here at I-70 at Minnesota Street, traffic is moving along just fine to start off your Wednesday morning.
There could be another security step at the airport if you're traveling outside of the country. You see, federal officials are considering a rule that all travelers be photographed as they leave or enter the United States. It would be part of an identification system using facial recognition technology. Now, right now, there are no details on this, but the Department of Homeland Security says it expects to have a concrete proposal by next July.
A $5 million chandelier is now being displayed under a bridge. After the break, the controversy over the piece's location.
402-7464.
A nearly $5 million chandelier is not being displayed inside a mansion, but under a bridge. The public art piece is turning heads and, of course, sparking controversy in Vancouver, Canada. The chandelier spins and flashes its lamps from under the bridge. Many say the fixture is mesmerizing, but others think it's out of place, especially since the city is facing a housing crisis. The artist defended the piece, saying that public art will always have critics.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but they better hope no one puts up a ladder and unhooks it there.
It could happen. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
So preheat to 350, Meredith, and just simply enjoy.
If you say so.
Put in some butter, 2 sticks of butter, some sugar. Why not? Today is National Cookie Day, so that's reason enough to indulge in a fresh baked goodie. There's no better time of year to bake up some snickerdoodles or gooey chocolate chip cookies. Cookies are one of the most popular American desserts, but I bet you and Todd did not know this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, listen, the word actually comes from the Dutch word for little cake. So enjoy all the little cakes you can, because they're all fat-free between now and January the 1st.
I never did know that. Todd, you're Dutch, correct?
I am.
Oh, did you know that?
100%.
Did you know that that's what cookie stood for?
They have green beans in them.
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah,
my grandparents did not train me in that or tell me that.
No.
But they gave me plenty of cookies.
Okay.
I just didn't know
good.
they were called little cakes. So you learned something. A lot of almond paste, too, in those Dutch households. All right, outside right now, we are dealing with quiet conditions, a mainly clear sky here at 6 a.m., 33 degrees. It remains chilly throughout the course of the morning hours with plenty of sunshine, though, once the sun does come up. And then high temperatures today will be topping off near 50 in southern locations, mid-40s to the north. It does turn a little breezy, though, so you'll have to contend with that. We'll talk more about your extended forecast when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:57. Stay with us. We'll be right back.